Hello horror fans! I am Torstein from Cinema Terror, and today we are going into haunted house territory with the 2014 horror film Haunt. In Haunt, we follow a family of 5 moving into a big house that happens to have a violent history, and is rumored by the locals to be cursed. The teenage son of the family, Evan, starts to develop a relationship with a girl named Samantha, who starts to tell him about the backstory of his new home. One day, Samantha finds a mysterious device in Evan's room, which are assumed to have belonged to the previous house owners. She believes that the device has the ability to open communication with the dead, and it doesn't take long before she has convinced Evan that they should test it out.
No.
Talks to the dead. The Morellos left it here, and I found it.
When they do, they also unleash an evil spirit, and now they all find themselves in great danger of becoming the next spirits doomed to spend the eternity of afterlife in this house.
You're just trying to scare me.
Haunt is a horror film that plays into very familiar territory. We have all seen movies where a family moves into a supposedly haunted house by now, so unless you bring a unique twist to the story, then you have to rely on effective filmmaking that gives a spooky atmosphere and a believability that makes the viewer believe in the paranormal activities that are going on the screen. In Haunt, they try to get us invested in the 2 teenagers, Evan and Samantha, played by Harrison Gilbertson and Liana Liberato respectively, and hope that their chemistry together and the twists and turns they introduce will be enough to keep you on board for the 80-60 minute long running time. They did succeed in giving us a teenage love story that I find myself caring about, as I enjoyed watching the relationship between Evan and Samantha. Both actors deliver believable performances, and there is more to them than just being horny young teenagers who lust after each other's flesh. If there is something to complain about in this regard, then I will say that they could have toned down the angstiness of Evan just a bit. Giving these 2 enough time to flesh out the characters comes on the expense of the rest of the family. We barely get to know any of the other family members, and I would have liked to see them more involved in the story. Evan's little sister seems to be in contact with one of the spirits in the house, but that part seems to be overlooked, and that's an aspect that I felt they could have taken more advantage of in creating scares.
What's that, honey?
Well, if there's really a ghost in Evan's room, I think he should make friends with it.
There are sadly small things like that spread out over the movie that might annoy you if you pay too much attention to the smaller details. The spooky scenes in Haunt is a bit of a letdown. Most of them are easy jump scares, and honestly just things that pop on the screen to make the audience jump, as they at times have very little interaction with actual characters in the movie. The uniqueness they try to add to the plot of this film is also not done very good. The backstory of the house and its previous owners aren't that interesting, and it also fails to how messy of a story structure the film has. Some of the actions that the characters do, especially when it comes to the spirit communicator device, seems illogical and can take you right out of the movie. The production values of Haunt is better than expected. I would not be surprised if someone told me this was a small production from a big studio, but surprisingly enough, this is an independent movie, so all props to them for being able to do something on a small budget that can rival a Hollywood production. I think there are 2 things that has to work for you to enjoy Haunt. One is that you have to have a weak spot for haunted house movies, and the second is that you have to be able to get into the love story of Evan and Sam. Both of those things works for me, so I had a good time while watching Haunt. Although I honestly doubt that this is a film that I will remember anything about several years from now. It's not a great film, especially due to the messy backstory it has and the low amount of effective scares. But it is worth giving a chance if this is the type of film you generally enjoy. Haunt gets a positive score of 3 out of 5. Have you seen Haunt? And if so, what did you think of it? Any other haunted house movies from the last 10 years or so that might have undeservedly went under the radar? Feel free to recommend some to me, as I'm always up for some good ghost stories. I did a review of another new paranormal horror film last year called Stillborn. That one is worth seeing, even if it has some flaws, so check that out as well if this is the type of films that you enjoy. Hope you enjoyed this video, keep watching horror films, and I hope to see you again for more horror movie reviews here on Cinema Terror.